Welcome to the On Par Podcast. I'm your host, Drew Alberto from the Winners Award Group showroom here in Coconut Creek. I've got an old acquaintance / new friend, Sam Eppy, in the studio. Thanks for coming down from Boca today, Sam.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
And we're going to get to your golf tournament that you want to promote, which is kind of how we got reconnected, other than when I had Steve Dwayne in here last week to shoot an episode. He goes, man, I really got to introduce you to my buddy Sam Eppy. So, I'm sure that we're going to find through golf and networking and business that we know a ton of the same people. And I don't even remember who introduced us originally 7 years ago.
Yeah, I have no recollection.
No recollection. So, but it's a pleasure having you here.
Thanks, man.
Why don't you start out with kind of your golf story and tell us how you got into this crazy game?
Oh, God. You're talking about me personally?
Yeah,
or
you
like
personally, yeah.
Oh, man. People always ask me about my, I'm Jewish and pretty, out there about it. So people always ask me about my Judaism, but nobody asks me about my golf story.
Well, let's start there, and then we'll get into Judaism.
No, we can.
I'm happy to.
We can leave. We
don't have any off-limit topics.
That's good. That's good. No, we can leave that out. So, golf. I've been playing golf since I was a little kid, not ever well to this day.
Okay.
Which I'm sure everybody says, but it's really true about me. My great-grandparents and my grandparents were big into golf. So
okay.
It's just socially. Both lived in golf clubs in South Florida, like old school ones that have kind of, well, actually, one of them is still a good
clubs?
Place. So one of them, the one I started on was my great-grandparents, which was down in Tamarack at the Woodlands.
Yeah, it's gone.
There was 2 courses at one point, and
Woodlands
I think they're both gone.
Yeah, Woodlands is gone completely. They built houses there instead.
Yeah, that's what I saw. And then, so I spent a lot of time on those courses when I was a little boy, and then also Boca Woods.
That place
West
is awesome.
Yeah, that's still 2 courses, isn't it?
I played there one time. The head pro got to be a friend, and he invited me and 3 buddies. And man, that was like putting on concrete.
Really?
It was beautiful. And that was probably in 21, maybe.
Okay.
So not that long ago, 3 years or so ago.
Yeah, we moved down here in 1993, so I started playing on that course in 1993. And so, I'd always go out to the range and stuff like that. So, form and things were coming more natural when I became an adult. And I was like, I think I'm going to do this. Everybody else is doing this. Why shouldn't I be doing this? So, I enjoy it. I think it's peaceful. I have not gotten great at it by any means. I cannot get out of, high double-digit.
Well, and we talk about all the time on this show that you don't have to be great at golf to be great at building relationships out there on the golf course and then making business happen for each other on the 19th hole.
Yeah.
So that's really my, and I'm a double digit, 19, 20 handicap myself. I didn't pick up a golf club till I was 36.
Okay.
And I really wish my kids would play golf now so they don't have the struggles, because they both have my personality. They're wild extroverts. They're mavericks. They'll go into a networking event and do a presentation to 40 adults like they own the room.
You said boys?
15 and 9 boy,
okay.
15 girl 9.
Okay.
And I've taken them to 6 Degrees Golf, and that's one of our networking groups, and they'll go in there, and when it's their turn to present, when everybody goes around the room, they'll give a presentation like they're talking to their friends. So okay. Anybody that has that type of personality that's going to have a career in sales, business development, I was told for years when I was in lending and recruiting that it was a character flaw that I didn't play golf. And I wish I listened, when I was in my 20s instead of my mid-30s. So are your kids playing golf?
My boys are younger. I have 2 boys, 9 and 7.
Okay.
The older one likes to try everything, and he's definitely into golf, but he's in that finicky age where he goes back and forth. So, he really wants to do it. He played 18 holes with me one time in Bermuda. I was astonished. I think he was maybe 7 years old.
No way.
And he played all 18, didn't complain. I just thought it incredible. But now he does the program out west at Osprey.
Okay.
Every week after school.
Is that the first tee program?
That's
or a different program?
It's Don Law.
Yeah. Okay.
And he likes it. I think it's a great program. This time of year is hot, you know, so he's been, even if you load him up with a water bottle and stuff, it's hot out there. So he's been complaining about the heat.
That was my daughter's 9 also, and that was her big complaint. We would go, even if we would go to like Boca Dunes or the Bridges, like a shorter course, which I think is great for the kids. Plus, it's great for us to practice without using the driver, right? I mean, it's good practice to practice your short game on those courses, especially for business. Because, you know, I've had days where I'll book back-to-back tee times at an executive, of course, and then we go out for a beer or dinner or whatever after, and then all of a sudden everybody's already friends.
You'll play 36 holes in a day and then drinks after? Is that what you just said?
Well, no, I'll play. I will do that.
Okay.
However, I'm talking about just, you know, you have a 1 o'clock tee time. It's a 3-hour-ish round because it's par 62.
Okay.
And you can get around pretty well.
Yep.
As long as nobody's like a quadruple bogey golfer or they're reloading or whatever. And then, you know, we go out, you know, wherever, across the street. Actually, the place that we go is Sunrise Pita.
Okay.
It's an Israeli restaurant.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'll go across the street from Bridges.
They have good food there.
They have great food there. So we'll go across to Sunrise Pita. Even if nobody's Jewish, we don't care. We just want good food.
No, it's great.
And all of a sudden...
It's a pretty wide, like, Middle Eastern...
Yeah, and all of a sudden, everybody's, you know, friends because we just played around together. I think I've only played with maybe 6 or 7 people that I said, never again will I play with that guy again. And
those people are unfortunate.
It's rough, man. But you know, at least you know you don't want to talk to them again or do business with them, right? Like, I look at it as I weeded those people out.
Yeah.
And maybe vice versa, because I know I'm not for everybody.
Right.
Like, I'm not looking to make all the people happy all the time.
True.
So...
No, there's a good chance if the way they play the game and do all that stuff, if it doesn't jive with you, that you probably don't jive with them.
And that's exactly why we wound up... One of the reasons we started this podcast is because my business went vertical when I started playing golf. And then I found this opportunity with Winners Award Group. I shoot my podcast here now. And that was all through...
Have you played with Steve?
Who's Steve? Dwayne?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm playing with him Wednesday at Fort Lauderdale Country Club with two clients that I referred him, as a matter of fact.
Nice.
And Steve, man, that guy... When his swing is on, it's loud.
Yeah.
It hurts my ears when he swings the club. He's got so much speed with that club.
I haven't played with Steve in maybe a year, and I was worse a year ago.
Okay.
I've been putting work in, so it's not It's not, my game is not embarrassing
Steve
anymore.
is, and plus he's a great guy to hang out with.
Yeah,
like, I would hang out with Steve and his family. Like, I've met his wife. I know his kids a little bit. And I mean,
he's good people, and he has good friends too.
And it translates to the golf course. And so, with that all being said, let's talk about how you use golf for business, and then we'll get into how the charity side works into it.
Okay, I would say I'm horrible at using golf for business.
Really? Why do you say that?
Well, I don't put the energy in that you do, so I probably don't get the sheer number of interactions with new people, I guess I'd say, but consistent with a lot of friends that are clients. My business, my business is a relationship business as well, and all of my clients, most of my clients, I should say all,
they play golf.
No, they're all friends.
Okay.
So if they play golf, then we'll play golf together.
So let's try this, Sam, because this has worked really well for me. You and I'll book a tee time. You invite one friend that could potentially use my services, and I'll invite one friend that could potentially use your services. And then let's see how it goes. So
It won't. It's not that it won't go well.
It's
consistency.
And it's not necessarily meant like that person's going to be my client or your client, but you know what? It's worth a conversation. And at very least, you're going to make a new buddy that might play in your charity tournament.
I have a tough business in that. Well, there's a lot of competition. It's heavy trust based.
Yeah, it's a wealth management position.
There's no there's no physical product, right? Like this room, I'm sitting around a bunch of stuff that I just think is incredible, right? So, but you can see it, you can touch it, you can feel it. It's like real estate. Real estate, you can walk in, you can put your hands on it,
right?
So that physical aspect it doesn't exist. I mean, we have
it's more
charts and graphs and advice. I mean, I love what I do. I love the what's the right way to say this?
Consulting side of things.
Yeah, the consulting side, the headier stuff. If there's a unique or complex way to lend my business, I love that stuff. I go deep on that. We'll do the basics too,
right?
But I don't know. I guess the point was, people get nervous trying to introduce to financial advisors because they think that they need to know if their friend has money, needs that person's help, that it's like you're setting up a date. You're trying to hook somebody up, and you're like, well, I hope they kick it off, and they're gonna sleep together. But
that's one thing I've stayed far away from. But I did have a very close friend and client ask me recently, hey, if you know anybody that you think might be a good match for me, and I'm like, man, that's gonna be, if I make that introduction, it's gonna be stepping way outside.
It's a little uncomfortable. It's a little uncomfortable, I would say, not just because of the parameters of the situation, but also, what if you refer somebody that's in that space? I'll use an estate planning attorney as an example. If I said I'm going to refer you an estate planning attorney, I better feel really confident that you're going to get your documents drafted. The communication channel is going to be really good. They're not going to leave you wondering what you paid your bill and where the hell, where's the process. So, and also,
I find that's why a lot of CPAs are hesitant to refer their clients, in my experience.
Yeah, I think in general, it's I remember when I first started, it was a very laissez-faire. Let me introduce this person to this person. But we live in such a fast-paced world that people's time becomes, I think this is how it's always been, but your time is your most valuable asset. And so to ask somebody to, unless if they're out there looking for it, it's a totally different ballgame.
Right.
But
and that's why when I say let me introduce you to somebody, it's not hey, this guy's going to be your next financial advisor. It's I like Sam. He's a good guy. Steve says nice things about him. I trust Steve. Let's go play golf.
Right.
And if you guys become buddies,
start somewhere.
You might use his services. He might use your services. Listen, you guys might buy products.
Let's put it this way: we're not going to not play golf.
We're not going to not play golf. I'll take it.
We're definitely going to play golf.
All right. So one quick thing about. I grew up in Cooper City, so I was like the token Gentile in my friend.
What high school?
Cooper City High.
Okay. I went to Olympic Heights in Boca.
Okay, and we're probably about
the same. I feel like we had this conversation.
We're probably about the same age. So I used to love going, and Sebastian Maniscalco says it really funny. He's a comedian.
Yeah, I've heard his bit.
Yeah, so
his wife's Jewish, isn't she?
I think so. And he says, same corporation, different divisions for Italians and Jews, which we fall into. And I used to love having the Jewish friends over for lasagna that the 4'10" grandma made in the kitchen 12 hours.
Yeah.
And then I would go to their house and their mom made 12-hour brisket.
Yes.
Which was, and a lot of Jewish food I'm not into.
No, most Jewish food isn't worth eating.
But 12-hour brisket is the bomb.
Well, it's also you can make something poorly. So I'll give you an example. Babka.
Yeah.
A good babka is incredible. A bad babka is crap.
Is it true?
It's crap.
And then
you'd be like, ugh, why would I ever eat babka if that's what babka tastes like?
We used to all make fun of gefilte fish. That was the big target of why would you ever eat
that's
that?
The black eye of Judaism.
Why would you ever eat that? So, but other than that, the family gatherings to me were identical, right?
People are yelling at each other. Everyone has an opinion.
Somebody's telling off-color jokes, and everybody's just kind of laughing and having a good time.
Yeah, it's all the same.
You got to be the loudest person and bring friends, otherwise you kind of don't fit into the family anymore. Yeah. So anyway, now enough about religion, which we didn't really talk religion. Let's talk about your upcoming golf tournament.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and see if we can get some more golfers and sponsors for you.
Okay.
So give me the rundown. First of all, what's the charity and why do you care?
So the charity is called JuJu's Mission to Remission. A friend of ours, we have a really close friend group from college. we still are together. We have a
And the college was
UCF.
UCF. Okay, and my wife went there.
We were all basically, most of us were fraternity brothers.
Okay.
And the band just stayed together. We never,
very nice.
We never separated, which ends up in a lot of shenanigans and antics and an annual trip with the guys, and the wives are involved now. We do like big family vacations with all the kids. And
how many guys is this that you're talking about? From the fraternity and
the total group,
fraternity.
The total group in the like group chat is how I count it.
Yeah, sure.
That tells me exactly.
WhatsApp or Slack.
Yeah, it tells me we're using one called Signal now, which is pretty good.
Similar,
but anyways, they're like, I can see. I'm like, oh, this is how many friends I have. That's great. 13.
Okay.
So there's 13 of us. Yeah, right. Exactly. Good. And one of us, unfortunately, fortunately, he has 2 daughters, and they have a kid on the way.
Okay.
The youngest daughter, Juliet, at 18 months, she got diagnosed with a pediatric cancer with a lymphoma. I'm going to attempt to say it.
Is it a hard to pronounce one?
It's B-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia.
So it's something super rare, I presume.
I am not. I mean, I would hope that it's rare. The whole point is like families shouldn't have to deal like with the financial burdens of what that comes with, because it's just kind of absurd that we live in a world today where and I don't even blame medicine. I blame some of the business around medicine that like
food, which is owned by pharmaceutical companies.
Well, that is probably one of the many reasons that kids end up unfortunately in this position. But even if that's not it, even if it's something else, like just the finances of dealing with, hospital bills and all this stuff. I don't care how wealthy you are. It's really unfortunate that it costs, hundreds of thousands of dollars
to
deal with this stuff. It's hard enough like watching like all these trips to the hospital for treatments and seeing, she's 18 months when this started, and it wasn't long ago that this actually happened. I mean, that group is really close, like we're friends. I think, to a certain extent, I hope they listen to this and they can decide which one of them I'm talking about. But I think some of them were a little bored. We all like playing golf.
Okay.
We all like having a good time. So they're like, friend needs help. We can do this. Let's start a charity. And
nice.
How
long has the charity been up and running?
It's like
brand new.
So
this is the first annual.
It's shinier than the trophies in this room.
Okay, so this is the inaugural.
Inaugural tournament.
Okay,
it's happening in Melbourne.
November.
It's November 14th, which is a Thursday.
All right.
At Baytree National Golf Links in Melbourne.
Sounds nice. Private club.
I would be lying if I said I've ever been to this course.
That's okay.
We have a real.
You've seen pictures, I presume.
Yeah, half of this group lives in the Melbourne and the Atlantic area,
which is about an hour away, roughly, from where we're sitting right now.
Yep. It's about an hour away, and we also knew like, if you're gonna do this stuff, you got to do it, for a community, because that's how you can. How people rally around 100%. This stuff. It's not the U.S. Open, so we need like some local, fun going on. So there's a batch of us coming to make the hour drive, which isn't that bad.
Yeah.
And we like I said, some of us are bored, and so it should be an amazing tournament. We got one of those
cannon.
Yeah, but it's not a regular cannon. It's like an AR. 15 at a hole. We have a veteran coming.
No way.
That brings a modified AR that you shoot out about 500 yards. And I've played in a lot of tournaments.
I might play in the tournament just to shoot the AR.
Yeah, I've played in, a good amount of tournaments, and it's pretty wild.
All right. So what else? That's something unique that I've never seen.
Yeah, the rest is
playing a lot of golf tournaments.
The current debate right now, and this may attract people to come if it's interesting to some people. Like, we're debating right now: are we doing too many fun things because it could be too much?
Yeah. Usually 4 is the max, and 3 to 4 is kind of, because otherwise.
Does the course usually say stuff to you at a certain number?
Well, you can slow down the pace of play
100%.
if you have too many things.
100%.
Now, the AR would theoretically speed up the pace of play because you do the spiel. Maybe you have them, buy a package at check-in.
Right, and you don't even play the hole. You just shoot the gun.
You shoot the gun, and maybe you putt it from wherever it lands.
Yeah.
And if you get it on the green, you get a 1, and if you make the putt, you get a 0 or some kind of combination
Something fun.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I actually like when they have you put it out.
I do too.
Because,
that's my value in a charity tournament.
That's also
I usually
my
get
value.
invited when the other 3 people, guys, girls, it doesn't matter, can't putt.
Because of your putting.
I can putt, yeah.
So can I.
All right.
That might be the other thing that brought us
We're going to have a putting
together
contest.
is I'm above a 20 handicap, but I can putt.
Yeah. All right. We can probably ride in the cart together then, because that sounds about right for me.
Yeah, I love it because I'm starting to bring good, friends and clients that I know are good and enjoy it, and then I become the worst golfer. But when they tell me I'm the best putter, it makes me feel so good about myself.
Exactly, and
then
you get to contribute, right?
Yeah.
You chip one in, or you hit a good sand shot, and that's when you get to the dinner afterwards. That's the shot you're talking about.
It's the best part of the scramble. Although the thing I don't love about scrambles is when I go out and you hit a nice shot and it's not the shot that you need, and you're like, I would be so happy with this shot if it was part of an 18.
Right. Right. And then you might duff the second one, and then it's like, never mind.
Thank God. I'm so glad this is a scramble.
Never mind.
Yeah, true story.
So how much is it to participate in this tournament? Are there sponsorships left available, which I presume there are, because it's
there are. So forgive me because well,
forget about that then.
I'm going to give you the answer.
Well, how do we sign up is the next question.
I'm going to give you the answer to both of those questions, actually.
Right, let's go.
My point is that I have to bring it up because it's funny. It ties back to the whole story. It's fraternity brothers.
Yeah.
We're all used to having a job. Somebody's the treasurer, somebody's the president, somebody's the golf chair. I'm not the golf chair.
You need some women.
I'd love for you to guess. As the financial advisor and one of the token Jews, what do you think they put me in charge of?
Picking the number. You're in charge of the numbers.
I'm in charge of establishing the 501c3 and working with
that. Sounds right.
I actually have a friend who, unfortunately, I'm missing his son's bris this morning to be here.
No way.
It was this was scheduled before that, but anyways,
a bris doesn't sound as fun as this anyway.
I mean, the food is usually pretty good.
The brisket.
We're usually going bagels and no, it's the morning, so bagels hopefully.
Oh, bagels and lox, of course. Cream cheese, really good homemade cream cheese.
Yeah, so a good friend of mine, his name is Michael Anajar, just to give him a shout out.
Okay.
He's an estate and tax attorney.
Yeah.
And he was really generous to pro bono do all the paperwork.
The setup for the charity.
With me. So we established it really quickly. I mean, I think we got lucky how quickly we got everything up and running. Same thing with, the finances. So they had me in charge of finances was the answer.
You're the numbers guy.
Opening a bank account, right.
So I'm going to guess it's probably around 175 to 225, maybe 250. For a single player.
You're pretty cool. You're right, because it's 500 for a foursome.
Okay.
So
I'm actually wrong.
125.
$125 to play
per person.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, 100, which includes breakfast and lunch.
And it's about right for that area. Melbourne, there's not as many tournaments. It's not as well populated. It's not like playing in a foursome in Broward or Palm Beach, and you're paying 3 times that sometimes.
And so sponsorships they range from $1,000 up to $3,000.
Okay.
The website is the best place to go.
Tell us.
It's JuJusmission.com.
Is that JuJu?
JuJus mission.com.
Okay. And is the money going to help the family?
Yeah.
Or is it going to is it going to research?
So
where's the money going?
I'm actually going to read you the mission and vision because I think it kind of answers the question. So the vision is to ensure no family feels like they are fighting childhood cancer on their own.
Okay.
So obviously, very likely, God willing, that she beats this, and
Amen.
we help make unnecessary bills go away, and then pick another family and just continue to play golf, have fun on the course,
and give the money to somebody who you can use it.
Yeah, I mean, all of us have good jobs. A lot of us own businesses, so we're just using our resources.
Your kids are healthy, thank God. Yep. And let's help people that are not.
Yep, and we also like an excuse to be together and act like fools for a day.
100%. And I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some alcohol sponsors and some booze out there.
Yeah, there may be some beers. There may be some beers and booze involved.
And that's okay. I mean, a lot of charity tournaments are really drinking tournaments with golf kind of as a side hustle.
Just as long as you make it through the 18.
Well, and I'm glad you shared with me about the charity, because Lou and Nick Chiera, the owners of Winners Award Group here, you just met one of them. Yeah. 30 seconds before we started this, they have a charity they've been doing for 31 years called Nick's Camp.
Okay.
And they send 150 kids with cancer to Camp Boggy Creek up in Eustis, north of where you went to school. And they wrote a $200,000+ check this year to send 120 something kids up there.
That's incredible.
And this place, I mean, I tell you what, you think these floors in this showroom are nice? They got those in their cabins up in Eustis.
Yeah.
The Orlando Magic built them a basketball court. SeaWorld
cool.
built them a pool that's handicap accessible.
That's nice.
Paul Newman and General Schwarzkopf started the camp. So they got like cooking lessons, because Paul Newman has all the salad dressings and pasta sauces and all that stuff. So it's a really cool place. And they just built Nick's ball field. So they now have like a baseball diamond that they use for kickball and baseball. Yeah. And their dad passed away from cancer, and he was commissioner of recreation and parks up in White Plains, New York, their hometown. And they started this charity as an homage to their dad.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
His name was Nick. So Nick is Nothing's Impossible for Cancer Kids. And, when your friend's daughter is old enough, we can actually send her out to camp, to summer camp.
That's cool.
And if she wants to learn golf, we have a partnership with the First Tee where we'll go ahead and teach the kids to play golf.
That's great.
The Florida Panthers gave us a grant to teach them ice skating. And then they do scholarships on top of all of this for the kids once they recover and go into remission, God willing.
Yeah.
They actually help them get scholarships. And they've been doing it so long that some of the little kids that went to camp 30 years ago are now social workers or oncologists helping the kids with the same cancer that they had. And it's great for their mental health, which is a huge thing. You got to keep a positive attitude is one of the things they teach you. So
I've heard
there's an opportunity for us to, as two charities to work together.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I've heard of another camp, and everybody, if people listen to this, they're gonna know, and it's gonna
we'll come up with the name.
It's the same thing, but for kids who have experienced loss.
Yeah, and they probably send them to the same camp, because like 1 week is cancer, 1 week is MS, 1 week is whatever.
So the way this group does it, I remember from kind of exploring it a little bit and helping my wife's cousin. My wife has a younger cousin, two younger cousins who lost both their parents.
Yeah.
So the younger cousin, we sent him to this camp, and so I learned a lot about it. It's a shame that I can't remember the name, but they actually rent the camps from all the other sleepaway camps. So towards the end of the summer, they do it for a week, and a bunch of the camps that are across America rent out the camp. So they don't have a physical location just for one camp, but they've been able to. The reach has gotten so big because they've been able to bring in so many kids because they're not really limited by a physical location, which is cool.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
So we got to go to JuJu's golf tournament.
Yes,
and shoot the AR.
Shoot the AR.
We'll make sure that we get the word out for you. And,
I'm gonna have to work it and not play it.
And then after we're done here, we're gonna go talk to Lou and Nick and say like, hey, maybe we can get a foursome at least in this, or maybe a sponsorship. So
if you guys are open to it, that'd be awesome.
It's worth a conversation because they're so passionate about the cancer. right? I mean, because of their dad and their charity for 30 plus years. Plus, we'll talk to them about when.
Where is that tournament?
That one's going to be at Broken Sound Country Club.
Nice.
I think it's either the last weekend in April or the beginning of May.
Okay.
And they've been doing it so long, it's a 2-day event. So Sunday night is the gala and silent auction, which raises most of the money, to be completely honest. And then the golf tournament is that
the non-players come to the gala.
Well, then they bring their wives and they dress up and they eat great food. Broken Sound Country Club, I mean, they play the Timber Tech Championship there for the Champions Tour in the PGA.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's one of the nicest courses I've had the privilege of playing because I played in it last year. But my wife doesn't like, she's kind of an introverted extrovert or an extroverted introvert, and she doesn't really like going to stuff like that. She cannot wait to go again because she had a blast. They gave out, I mean, you walk in there and they hand you a tray of lamb lollipops that are perfectly cooked to a beautiful medium rare. And it was like, that was issue. We had her at lamb chops, so.
Well, a really, really well done event. Like, people can't wait to get back.
Well, we'll make sure that we get you an invite to the gala.
That's cool.
And maybe you can share it with your clients and friends. And,
I'd be happy to.
But again, I mean, it's all about helping each other, right?
Yeah.
Like, we barely know each other, but we already want to help each other.
Yeah.
So. All right, good, man. Well, I look forward to getting out there on the golf course with you.
Yeah, me as well.
And it's been a pleasure.
Thanks.
From Sam Eppy, I'm Drew D. Alberto. Thanks for listening to the On Par podcast, and we'll catch you next week.